Welcome to the channel, Primal Chaos. So today, I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I'm going to jump forward in time. I've been sort of dealing with a lot of the classic tunes from some of these sort of more vocally aggressive bands, hardcore, metalcore, all that sort of stuff, deathcore. Things that, you know, they're songs that I'm not familiar with and I'm trying to go through and have really honest reactions. As a music fan for a really long time, I'm trying to go through some of these genres that I've somehow managed to skip past. And to be honest with you, I'm really enjoying the journey. I'm talking to everybody who'll listen about it, and it's really cool. And I hope you guys are enjoying the ride too. To me, I'm trying to make it feel like you're introducing your best friend to bands you've loved all your life. And that's why I love it when you guys jump in and give me comments. And to be honest with you, I can't even imagine, like, you know, the videos aren't like breaking any records right now, but for the few views they're getting, the engagement, you guys jumping on and helping me out and assisting me with comments and stuff like that has been truly next level. And it's super satisfying to log on every day and just see everybody wanting to impart some of their wisdom. And you know what, first of all, thank you for that stuff. So the thing I'm going to be doing a little bit different is, rather than look at some of the classic songs from, like, you know, the height of when those genres were really kicking on, I'm going to jump forward. You guys really seem to like the August Burns Red song. I think it was Composure that I did. So I'm going to jump forward to a 2020 version of that track, that band, and hear the song Defender. So I have no idea what to expect. I don't know if these guys have had one of those weird fundamental shifts in their overall sound. I guess we'll find out. I mean, it's going to be a bit raw because I'm comparing, you know, not an entire catalog. I mean, comparing two songs from two different eras. So if I mischaracterize anything, that's just my own ignorance, as far as like what the rest of their catalog sounds like. So bear with me. I'm hoping to really like this because I love the other song. It was a real eye opener for me, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to jump straight in. That's what you came here to see. All right, let's see. Cool clip. Wow. Nice. Man, I'll never get enough of it. Within this genre, the interludes between parts of songs are just always super creative, and it's not always complex. It's always, sometimes it's just real simple, but it just begs like for attention. Like it's just, it just really cuts through the chaos and gives you a moment of stillness, and then we're done. We're kicking your ass again. I really dig that. This clip looks amazing, by the way. And thank the Lord, because I've been watching so much stuff, you know, that's prior to sort of, you know, 2010 sort of thing. Most of the music videos that are online are just potato quality. They're all like 380p. This one is like 4K and everything like that. I'm watching it at 1080p, but man, it's a little thing, but it's really helping me out here. Now, I just want to hear that again, because again, all of this stuff just washes over me and I keep missing things. I go back and watch my replays on these and I go, man, I should have pointed that out. I should have pointed that out. These are truly first reactions. So if you're screaming at the computer right now going, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't talk about X or Y, trust me, the next time I watch the video back, I'll totally notice it. All right, so here we go. I'm going to start back near the start again. See, just like that, listen, like if you're listening in headphones, which I recommend for all this stuff, can you hear that left and right? There's like it's like a static sound. It's not even an instrument or anything. It sounds like some sort of a loop or something that they've heavily filtered, panned super hard left and right. And it's just this little kind of thing going on, bouncing between the two ears. And it just sets up a tempo, even though there's nothing else going on. You're just hearing this sort of thing, you know? Listen. And just the other day I was talking about, I think it was it Lorna Shore? I'm not sure. The video for that got pulled. It'll be up soon. I'm hoping. I disputed the claim. And that one, watch that, because that song blew my mind. But there was a point, oh, maybe it was a different song, but they used a reverse reverb to sort of emphasize a big major hit. And if you listen here, they've done it with a reverse cymbal, I believe. There it is, right? Outstanding. Nice. That's good. Nice. So yeah, one of the things I mentioned in the last August Burns Red, I think Composure or whatever it was, I'm terrible with names and everything. I've done so many of these in the last few days, it's all blending together, but was that I was concerned that the singer, his mid-tone sort of growl, I guess, again, terminology for me is, I'm still kind of, it's a weak point, but man, it didn't sound healthy. And I had asked in the comments, you know, if there's been any sort of maybe a change in singer later on, or if he changed his vocal style, which a lot of people do. And you know, a few people in the comments responded and said, no, that this guy's still kicking on and he's still cutting sick. And you know, you can still hear that timbre in his voice, and he's still doing the same thing. So man, it's a masterpiece of a voice. It really is. Texturally, it's just it's got so much just rawness to it that I really like. Now, as far as like everything else, drums, guitars, everybody's on point. It's just super tight. There's so many textures going on. I love these bits. That looks super cool. Breakdown. There's that sample again. The dissonance in those guitar chords is really nice too. Good work. I love how they do that. The guitars are doing this kind of like just a little pattern, but then, you know, it's just repeated like once or twice, and then they just pull up to these like a dissonant sort of double stop or something, just to give it that sort of spicy sort of twang at the end of the little cycle of melody. I'll see if I can find it and I'll point it out to you. Those little spicy sort of nice. Here it is. Hang on, just 1 second. I brought this up earlier. Defender 2020 off the album Guardians. Dan Fuselman was the director of the video, I guess. And man, you know what? It brings, like, I know that, you know, songs are really designed to be digested, you know, yourself in you know, or on stage or something like that. But sometimes, especially, like, have you ever had that experience where you've heard a song a million times, but when you see the music video, all of a sudden everything locks into place and you understand it. You've got a deeper understanding of what the idea of it, what the concept was, what they were going for. And the energy that this sort of low frame rate motion comic sort of vibe brings to it is just it somehow manages to highlight the brutality, particularly of that little breakdown where the, you know, listen to this. Like, that's just awesome. I gotta say another thing about, like, overall the musicianship. It's real tempting these days, and again, I'm only hearing what I'm hearing, but it's real tempting these days in a studio environment, particularly with complex music like this that needs to be super tight, is, you know, to do a lot of editing and a lot of cutting, and you know, particularly with things like stops where you might have like, you know, guitars are noisy instruments, and to get those really clean cutoffs and stuff like that can sometimes require a little bit of snipping and editing, and that leads to people doing things in the edit that make them sound like they play better than they do, right? Like the tightness of the cleanliness of the way that they play, and the tightness of their hands, how well they connect and they're locked into the kick and the snare drum, things like that, and you know, things, how everything relates. To me, to my ears anyway, as tight and as clean as this is, it sounds raw. It sounds like these are just long takes, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if they recorded parts, you know, everybody does that. Nobody sits there and plays the whole song all the way through. I mean, people do. Dream Theater tends to record their stuff live in a studio together, and things like that. So, I mean, a lot of people do, but particularly with smaller studios and things like that, it's often a lot easier to track everyone individually, and that allows, you know, this thing to creep in where you can, like, well, we'll just tidy that up in the edit, or we'll just, you know, clean up those things and lock it and grid everything. And again, there's nothing wrong with doing that, as long as you're just giving the best representation of what you're capable of with a take. When it starts to get into territory of like, well, the drummer can't play those songs live, or, you know, when you hear the song live, it doesn't sound the same. That's where it gets into squirrely territory. But these guys, like, I'm hearing the riffs, I'm hearing the patterns, and it's tight enough to sound like a super tight band, but it's not tight enough to sound like it's fake. And I appreciate that, you know. I mean, these guys have been around forever. If they can't play by now, then something else is wrong. But yeah, this is just really nice. It's punchy, organic, real, and just brutal. There's those little slidey guitar parts again. I don't know if this is ever going to get seen by the guitarists in this band, but I see you guys. I see those little double stop slides you do in the middle of the licks and stuff like that. That's super nice. It's real easy when you're playing aggressive riffs to get locked into patterns, and to break out of those patterns sometimes can feel a little bit sort of a little bit dangerous, you know, to do things like slides and things like that in the middle of a riff. And these guys, they just nail it. They're really good. Man, listen to how dry that kit is. I love it. Again, this is what I'm learning, because I'm, you know, now that I'm getting stuff thrown at me from different subgenres within like the core communities, you know, it seems like with metalcore being a lot more dramatic and a lot more lush, lots of reverbs. Oh, sorry, did I say deathcore? I meant deathcore. Whereas metalcore just keeps everything really dry and punchy, and then I guess they sort of like swing, I guess, in between the hardcore genre. Metalcore is it sits in its own space, sort of in between, and then you've got like, whereas hardcore is probably a bit more bombastic, a little bit more crazy and fun. Metalcore seems to take itself a little bit more seriously, and then you've got the really dramatic deathcore stuff. And the way that all of those bands are mixed and produced in the studio is all very, very different. It's super exciting for me, because I didn't even realize all these genres existed. Now I'm sort of being able to sort of cherry pick elements between them, and you know, if you want to clarify any of that in the comments, jump in, because I'm really curious about how all of the genres interrelate. And I know that it's, you know, there's a lot of gray area, it's very fuzzy, but if in broad strokes someone could explain to me how they perceive the differences between all three, hardcore, metalcore, and deathcore, you know, but for what I'm hearing in the mixes is a big deal as well. It's not just the songwriting, it's not just the performances vocally, things like that. It's there's an element to how they put their music out there as well. Yeah, those drums are, they're big in the mix, but they're small spatially, and it makes them punchy and tight and aggressive, and it leaves room for everything else to bounce around it, which is just great. Just great. Defender. Nice. What a great clip. What a great clip. So before I jump into the summary, I just wanted to touch on the topic that's dear to me, and that's colorblindness. 1 in 6 of you guys is colorblind. 1 in 200 of you girls is colorblind. Check the link in the description, and it'll take you to Enchroma, where you can do an eye test. If you decide to buy any of their glasses, which are great quality, even just for sunglasses, but you know, for colorblindness, they're a godsend, at least for me. Use the code CHAOS in the checkout and you'll get 10% off. All right, back to the reaction. Okay, so yeah, but in summary, what I liked about this more than anything was the journey. It's another one in the long line of, it seems like these sort of songs in the genre that sort of, they take you to a whole bunch of different places. You know, when I came into this, I knew about breakdowns and things like that, and I was expecting to have like verse, chorus. Breakdown is kind of like your middle eight or bridge part, and then you'd have an outro. And I mean, you could categorize a lot of this stuff as that, but boy, do they, each of those little parts take you on a different journey, you know? And I mean, I guess if you listen to these albums all the time, you get really used to these things, but for someone who's listening for the first time, there's so much to take in, you know? And so, you know, you're never quite sure. You can always hear something's coming up, and you're not sure where you're going to go. Is it going to be a slow halftime feel breakdown, or is it going to be more aggression? Is there going to be a small gap and then it explodes in your face? Yeah, so that's one of the things I'm finding I really like about these genres, is that you never know what you're going to get in the next section of the song. That to me is a learning process. That's something that, like, I'm definitely going to implement more in my own writing. But yeah, I love that. That's really cool. The other thing, obviously the clip is stellar. It's really cool. The production is really nice, but you'd expect that from a band that's been around this long. They know who to get to produce their records, and they know who to work with. They also know what they want. And it definitely is evident in this song, because it just sounds punchy as hell. Everything in the mix supports what they're trying to put out there musically. And man, what a kick-ass song. Anyway, I hope you liked the review and the reaction. I'm going to be Probably doing a couple more today. We'll see how we go. But yeah, keep an eye out. Definitely keep an eye out for my Lorna Shore review. It should hopefully pop back up pretty soon. But yeah, thanks again, guys. Again, I can't thank you guys enough for the interactions online, on Reddit, on YouTube, in the comment sections, things like that. So stick around. There's going to be plenty more where this came from. Catch you on the next one.